Well, inevitably, Kellyanne Conway, former Trump advisor, serial liar, rumored to be the actual exoskeleton of Ann Coulter, has written a book. Of course, she's written a book. This is what people do when they leave the Trump administration. Most of them, however, are critical of Trump. They were scared to actually do their duty that they swore an oath to do when they were there, and now they come out and say, he was nuts and wanted to shoot protesters and, wanted to nuke Finland and God knows what else. But Kellyanne Conway, of course, she still wants to kiss Trump's ass and benefit from that relationship, or is scared of him. I would think the former more than the latter. So she had not a bad word to say. She's obviously a liar, and you know this because you've watched her for many years. You also know this because I know this. I know her. I knew her way back, and we'll get to that. But she also, anything of value in her book. I mean, she went after Jared Kushner. The two of them were always fighting for Trump's warm embrace, for his love as White House advisors, called him shrewd and calculating. I'm not sure if that was an anti-Semitic thing or not. Who knows? Doesn't really matter. That's if anybody's shrewd and calculating, that would also be her. And yes, Kushner is like, what did we learn new from that? And that thought he was an expert in everything. Well, gee, the guy that took on opioids, the guy that took on peace in Israel, the guy that took on numerous economic aspects of Trump's presidency. Hell, the dude was doing so much. I think by the end there, they had tasked him with trying to get Marty Byrd out of the cartel in Ozark. So, what is there that we have to say about Kellyanne Conway? First of all, don't buy her book. Please don't. I mean, she'll have people mass buy it anyhow, so I'm sure the sales will be great. She does say that she doesn't know. She thinks America and democracy will survive. She says at the end, quite ironically, considering she's tried to make both of those ideas fail bigly. But she's not sure if she and George will survive. And, well, I mean, that's been an ongoing question for a while as her husband became a never-Trumper. And apparently she was jealous because he loved Twitter more than her. That's who he whispered his sweet nothings to. But here's the thing about Kellyanne Conway, okay? Years ago, I was in a graduate class and political campaign management, and she was invited as a guest. At the time, she was working for Dan Quayle, to give you an idea how far back we're going. And she looked everybody in the face and convinced them that Dan Quayle was a genius. Convinced, she didn't convince anybody, but like she was convinced. Afterwards, because I knew the professor, I talked to her, and she admitted quite obviously that she just was on the team, and no, he wasn't a genius because she's full of shit. As the years went on, I moved to Washington. I debated her a few times, Fox, MSNBC. She's always very aggressive, and she knew she was right. I mean, the stuff you've seen her do, and whatever it was the Democrats were doing was evil. I mean, just kind of like a bargain basement Sean Hannity. And then, you'd go off the show and talk to her and she'd be very nice. It's like the way Eric Swalwell has described Ted Cruz, right? Like he'll rip the crap out of him on the air and then he walks off and thinks they're best friends. And Swalwell has said he respects the people more who rip the shit out of him on air and then think he's an asshole off air. And I could say the same thing. Like there are people that were genuinely, I knew I hated on air and off air. Well, I felt that way about her, but off air, she wanted to be friends because it's all a game to her. And you'd think that might have stopped when it came to American democracy, right? That maybe she cared enough that when she saw the dangers that Trump posed and that he was radicalizing the Republican Party, that might change her behavior. But it did not. You may remember she worked for Trump. She introduced alternative facts into our lexicon. Right, because that makes lots of sense. What else did she? She gave us the Bowling Green Massacre, which I still haven't been able to figure out. If it's the Bowling Green Massacre, I have to assume that Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jewish lasers, and Satan whispering in the Pope's ear were all somehow involved. This book will just be more of the same. So, again, we're all talking about Kellyanne, and I'm sure, her book will sell well. Again, they'll bulk buy it and do whatever they need to do. But I think if you're watching this, you know who she is, what she stands for. Don't buy the book. Don't listen to anything she says. She's she's one of the worst, and that's saying something. Like on Ted Cruz level, Donald Trump level, dishonesty of not believing a damn thing that comes out of your mouth. That's a good thing for you to know. Hey guys, we're growing, but we need to grow more. Please subscribe. If you like these videos, and a bunch of you have been kind enough to say that you have in the comments, which you should do. You should comment. Please subscribe, and there'll be a few of them dropping every day, and especially during the week. We're going to get these going on weekends soon enough, too, I hope. And put your notifications on. You'll know when new ones come down the pike. Thanks for being here.